Hello.
257.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, man.
Well, here we are back at the half, and of course, we thought that things were going to be better. It doesn't look any better for the Eagles. Initially it looked, as we were talking off air here, it looked initially like it was going to be good. Unfortunately,
232.
not even the case. It seems like its first drive was going so well down the field, and then in the fumble on the ball. Sorry for the. I'll wait for the announcement here to be over.
Bingo.
We got a winner.
Winner, chicken
Exactly.
dinner.
so hopefully Mike's done here with his announcements. But all right, so of course we're looking back at we talked about at the beginning of the podcast.
278. Oh God.
We talked about the beginning of the podcast was that it was supposed to be one of those things that it was supposed to be a fast start. It looked like initially it was going to be. Unfortunately, it's slowed down ever since. Carson looks good at times, but once again, we're watching this team fall apart at the seams. And I don't know, maybe, the Drew, maybe you're seeing something different than I am.
Well, I thought, just like you said, the Eagles had a fast start. They rolled right down the field. Unfortunately, they weren't able to seal the deal. And on the second drive, when they were starting from their own 1-yard line, they were moving the ball pretty well. Unfortunately, Carson Wentz ended up throwing that INT for the only score of the game. The Eagles do get the ball first for the second half. I think the biggest concern at this point is that Jason Kelce is questionable to come back for the second half. He's really been that anchor of that depleted offensive line. So let's see what they can do in the second half. They're only down one score. I'm not impressed with Baker Mayfield at all. The two-headed monster of Chubb and Kareem Hunt have only combined for like 20 yards, if that. So the Eagles' defense is playing well. They're only down a score, so let's go.
Mike, what do you think?
Well, they came out looking good, but it's, Watts with another turnover as usual. I mean, penalties. Hopefully Kelce will get back and be healthy for the second half. I mean, they're as sloppy as it looks, they're still in it. I don't know. I mean, it's like almost like a snooze fest. Like part of me feels like going to sleep. I'll be honest.
That's exactly what it feels like. I'm trying to mute my mic in between because obviously I'm right above the speaker here, and that's kind of one of those things.
Now we're going to go 2 Philly and South shirts.
I'll take a shirt.
Yeah, me too. I'm an extra large.
I get a double X.
That's really kind of what it's been for the entire season, right? Like, as boring as the Eagles have been in some of these games, they're still in it. Even if they lose today, they're still winning the division. So
I don't even want to hear it because after this game, I mean, the schedule don't get no easier. I mean, I can't see how, even if they win today, how they even win one of these games down the road.
What about the game against New Orleans if Breeze is out?
Maybe, but I just
Happy Thanksgiving. It's a tradition.
I'm saying this.
Washington.
In a way, I think Doug. I'm starting to wonder if Doug lost the locker room.
Later today,
That's true.
Can we bring that into play?
America's game of the week is Aaron Rodgers.
Who knows? I don't know. Don't know. It's kind of hard to hear because, of course, I got the speaker again once above me, so it's kind of hard to hear a little bit. But Rick says Jason Peters would be better off directing traffic. I would probably have to agree with Rick, unfortunately. It's just, you want to deal with things when it comes to this team and hope that things will get better. Unfortunately, I don't know. Mike mentioned, Fuji mentioned that it seems like Doug has lost the locker room. That could be part of it. I'm not 100% certain sold on that whatsoever, but that could be the case. I just don't understand what's it going to take for this team to get it together. I understand it's cold conditions. It's wet out there. The ball's a little bit slippery. The handoff that Carson had almost before the half to Miles Sanders, he ended up, again, let it slip, let it fall through. I mean, it's just – this is kind of getting to be that bad news bears territory. And it's bad to say, but it's just this team is – I don't know. They're still getting burned on deep passes. They're still getting – they're 5-10 feet, or 5-10 yards behind as far as when it comes to to the wide receivers. So I just don't understand what Doug can do at this point to make it any better for anyone, because I'm just not seeing it. I'm going to mute my mic here so you guys can talk.
Well, if they clean up the encroachment penalties, I think they've had 3 of them. You got to put the Browns in 3rd and long rather than 3rd and short. Their running backs are just too good that if it's 3rd and short, they're going to find a way to convert those first downs and keep the drives going, right? So they definitely need to clean that up. But like I said before, I think the Eagles actually look pretty good today. They've had a couple of drives that unfortunately were ended by turnovers. So, they need to clean up the penalties and they need to clean up the turnovers. And with that being said, they're only down 7-0. They're going to get the ball to start the second half. Let's make some adjustments and get at it, because the Browns are 6-3, and I'm not convinced that they're that good of a team.
Oh, they're really not looking, and as the record states, 6-3. But they have, like you said, they've only beaten the Indianapolis Colts to really any team that they've beaten anybody. Just looking at the stats here, I mean, Eagles have already ran the ball just about almost 20 times. Miles Sanders has 63 yards for 11 carries. Boston Scott 5 for 24. Dallas Goedert has 3 receptions, 66 yards. I mean, Mayfield's numbers, 715, 112 yards, no picks or a touchdown. I mean,
yeah, I'm really not impressed with Baker Mayfield, especially when they had that 1st and goal and he overthrew that one ball. He looked pretty bad. And, look, the running backs, you can't take anything away from Mayfield for that, but they just weren't able to seal the deal. Look, bottom line, Philadelphia, if you are watching and you're listening, the Eagles are only down 7-0. We are going to come back and win this game. It might not be 30-22 like I predicted before the game, but they are going to come back to win this game. But I will tell you this, be careful what you wish for. Because if the Eagles end up in first place at the end of the season, guess what? They'll be playing a first-place schedule again next year. And the Eagles right now are not a first-place caliber team.
Tom chimes in and goes, enough with the trick plays from Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Yep, I agree with the Drew. It's just not. They should be playing. And I guess if you have to tank the season, you might as well go ahead and tank the season now at this point. The bad part is the Eagles can deliberately tank the season. Unfortunately, so are the ACC Giants, the DCU freaking Washington football team. I mean, it's just going to be in the Dallas Cowgirls, under the same roof, unfortunately. But, Dallas, of course, out with Dak Prescott. They're still going through, Jerry Jones coming in for the game today. But it's just going to be – I mean, it's bad overall. The Eagles can't get, for whatever odd reason, this act together. And I understand, and we've talked about this numerous times. We know it hasn't been a regular season. We didn't see a regular, football camp as far as when it comes to the summertime. We didn't see training camp going on. I mean, it's just so many different things that happen. But it just – I don't know how many times you can come on, whether, it's Dave, whomever, just comes on every single week and we hear how we're going to get better. This is going to improve. Safety's got to get better. Running backs got to be more aggressive. We got to be aggressive on a game, on a game calling. I don't know. It's just it's you're running out of excuses. Next week and from here on out, for that matter, it's not going to get any better. The schedule, we got 4 or 5 games. We got next week's an 8-20 game. Then you got 4 or 5, and we have another late one before we have another early one. So, I mean, it's not from here on out for the rest of the season. Just not looking good. And at this point, everyone has to be evaluated. And Joe earlier from Cleveland, he talked about as far as Carson Wentz being a problem. He has sent me a message while we were off air saying that Carson continues to be the problem. But I'm not wholeheartedly sold that Carson Wentz is the entire problem on this team. Has he been a big potential problem? Yeah, we've seen it because it's been overthrown balls, underthrown balls. I mean, it hasn't been consistent. When it seemed like he was going to be consistent, unfortunately, it fell through. This game has proven to be the same exact thing. And a lot of it, I can't blame the wet conditions because Philly is no different than Cleveland as far as when it comes to the weather conditions. So I don't understand where the disconnect is. I don't know. I'm just not having faith whatsoever. I called it a small-time score for today's game. It seems like it's going that direction. And I don't know what's going to happen from here on out, but I still believe that Cleveland's going to pull it off.
Anything's possible. I mean, mean, like I said, Cleveland being 6-3 and the Eagles being what the hell they are, it's like it's just a sloppy game. Like back to what you were saying, Angel. I don't know if it's the weather conditions or, I mean, in this type of weather, you want to come out and pound the ball. I mean, you should be running it down their throats, which, they're having success. But, that pick that went through basically, pretty much taking the wind out of the sails as far as getting any momentum going.
Let me ask you guys this. The way the Eagles defense is playing today, because the defense have not given up any points, would you make every drive for the Eagles 4-down territory no matter where they are in the field? Because they have been able to effectively run the ball and move the ball. Maybe what they do to control the clock is make, no matter where they are in the field, just make it 4-down territory. If you turn the ball over on downs, you turn the ball over on downs, the defense will pick you up. What do you guys think?
Why not? I mean, hey, let dogs strap the brass ones on and go for it on 4th and 1 if he has to, or 4th and 2. What do you got to lose? You're playing with house money right now, so why not roll the dice and go for it?
Yep, I agree the same way. And I'll get back to the comment here real fast. But for Rick, he says, I will drive over to Hammer Joe's when the Eagles win another game. See you next year. I'll see you next year, Rick. And yeah, don't bother me to drive at this moment because that's just the way it works. But I agree too. If you're going to be 4th and 2, 4th and 1, you might as well go for it at this point. I mean, you got nothing to lose. You're down by 7. So I agree with you, Mike. It should be one of those things that we might as well go for it. I mean, the defense has stopped. The defense has looked good at parts of this game, but yeah, you might as well. You got nothing to lose from here on out for the end of the game.
Well, at this point, I mean, any desperate team in the NFL is a dangerous team. So, not that they look that desperate, but or that dangerous. But
That's true.
I don't know. I'm like lost for words because it's getting harder and harder to watch this team every week. And with their schedule coming up, if they don't pull it out today, I just don't see them winning the next 5 games. Like back to what you said, Mike. Maybe the Saints game, but this team has a mountain to climb.
Yeah, this definitely becomes a must-win situation for them when they play Seattle next week. Seattle has had the Eagles' number for who knows what reason. They beat them 17-9 in Philadelphia, not once but twice last year. But let's not look ahead to that. Let's just focus on the second half of this game. They're only down 7-0. They're going to get the ball to start the second half. Let's see if they can find a way to move the ball and put some points on the board, even if it's a field goal. Make some things happen.
We'll see what happens at the end of this game here. But, of course, we got the second half kicking off. And we'd like to thank everyone who viewed the show, who continues to like and share the page. Of course, our contributor here that normally has that posted up there. But now him being on the other side, and then I'll take over the duties as far as saying like and share the page. We do appreciate everyone as far as coming on. We hope to do much better off. And Joe just well, you know what? Hold on. We'll extend it here for a minute because Joe just came in. Joe, we're about to go off here because the second half has started. Your assessment so far, what do you think as far as the game?
I think it feels like a 2-score game right now. I credit the Eagles defense for holding Chubb and Hunt under 35 yards. You guys called that one. It seems like it's going to be a close game. It's a nail biter. It's causing me to drink. It's causing me to drink. The Sierra and Taki interception seems to be the only difference in this game. So, with that being said, I'm excited for the second half.
So now, if anything, Joe, before we go off air here, what do you think as far as I see another comment coming in? I'll get to the comment there in a second. But as far as for the second half, what adjustments do you think that Cleveland needs to make?
We have to run on the other side of Fletcher Cox, and we got to get the run game going. Baker Mayfield, he's overthrown, he's underthrown. He needs to really get back his accuracy once that he had in Oklahoma. that's the problem Browns haven't seen in a long time in Baker is the accuracy, because that's what we drafted him on, was his accuracy. And we should be up probably 2 touchdowns right now.
Yeah, should be, but listen, many things can happen. Of course, we know this, as we've seen in football before. Some games have been like last week. Hail Mary can make a difference. So, there's a lot to dive into at the end of this game. Again, we're going to see if Carson Wentz can make some adjustment here to make it better. Jason Kelsey's back up as Tom let us in. So, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll leave it at that. We'll see exactly what happens and try and see what Carson's trying to do here. And once again, holding on to the ball and sack. No surprise there. So, I don't know. We're going to see how this game finishes off. Joe, thank you once again for coming back on with us. Real brief.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, and thanks to everybody there at Broad Street South for having me on. Like to have you guys on our podcast anytime.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Not a problem whatsoever. And guys, if whether you're in Cleveland, but everybody's on Facebook, look for.
I'll tell you this. Listen to this. So after the first half, I went in and I went on a little jog around my neighborhood. I came back soaking wet and cold, man. Them players there are playing in some good football weather.
That indeed. Philly's the same exact way. So it's the slipping in the ball, as we talked about before we came on, is no different. So I don't know. It's going to be. Oh no, it's going to be interesting. But Joe, thank you. Of course, Mike. The Juru, the Mrs. Juru, of course, being so far, they haven't called the game yet, but we'll see. But for everyone, thank you for viewing. Again, next Monday night, there's one more comment I see popping in. Next Monday night, we will have Tony Bruno on. Pamela says, what is the score? Can't get a game here in South Carolina. 7-0, Pamela. 7-0 so far. There you go. Mike Sherman just put it up there. Drew put it up. 7-0. So, and thanks, Pamela, for viewing in and tuning in from South Carolina. We do appreciate it. So, guys, we will see each other again come next week. I appreciate to the viewers. Thank you so much. Without you guys, we can't make the show happen. Next week, episode 17 with Tony Bruno. And once again, if I can go back and click over here, we will talk to you guys come next week. Everyone, have a safe holiday. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you.